So what does this audience even look like? What is up, guys? My name is Michael, aka the Wolf of Wi-Fi Money, and today we are going to be covering lookalike audiences, how to effectively use them, what they are, and how you can use them to leverage your Shopify dropshipping store. As always, if you find any value in this video, throw a thumbs up, subscribe below, and drop a comment on anything else you want me to cover. Without further ado, let's get into my computer and go over lookalike audiences. Lookalike audiences, let's get into it. So, you've definitely heard of lookalike audiences before, whether it be just seeing them on the actual Facebook ads platform or you've heard other people speak about them, but what are they exactly? You know, what do they do? How do they work? How are they effective? And that's basically what we're about to go over, every step and every way to effectively use lookalike audiences the right way. So, before we get in depth, let's just go over exactly what they are. Essentially, these audiences are lookalikes, right? Look like the custom audiences you've created them to model after. So, what they do and what Facebook essentially does is it takes a given set of audience, for example, people who have purchased your product, and then categorizes them and matches them by their email, and then goes and says, okay, you know, based on these 100 people that have purchased this product, it seems that we have, 2 million other people that most closely match this group of people, meaning that if they look like this type of audiences, they would be definitely more inclined to do the same or take the same actions, such as purchase your product because they look like them. So what are examples of, exactly these lookalike audiences, what they are? So think about people who have purchased, people who have added to cart, people who have viewed your video. And it matches them based on their interests, based on other ads that they've clicked on, based on their search history, based on everything that Facebook can possibly analyze on this given audience. So what do you need to start? How can you start using lookalike audiences? When shouldn't you use these lookalike audiences? And the key thing with lookalike audiences is data. There's nothing more. The more data you have, the more effective these audiences are going to be, because they're going to be able to more closely identify one common attribute among 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 2,000 people that have also taken the same action. They'll have more data to kind of closely match what another audience's matches with the one that you're testing. So the more data that you have, the more effective these are actually going to be. And it's going to be much easier to start with, something that you have more actions on, such as a video view lookalike, a view content lookalike. If you're just starting out, it doesn't always need to be, a purchase lookalike. So how much data do you exactly need? And this is just an estimate that I would give my students, that I tell people always, is for purchase lookalikes, you definitely want to make sure that you're doing at least 50 purchases a week. I usually don't even start lookalike audiences until I have a little bit over 100 on my pixel. And really the reason why is because you'll be essentially wasting money before this. You won't really be able to, Facebook won't really be able to closely match your audience based on, 3 people. And then one other way you can use lookalike audiences and a lot of people love to do this, is running video ads. So people who have viewed your video over 50%, over 75%, over 95%, this group of people is obviously interested in what you're showing them because they're watching it full, especially if your video is 45 seconds to a minute long, and they're watching 50%, 70% through. They were obviously interested or inclined to maybe, purchase this product. So I usually say after running that video ad to over 10,000 people, you can create that custom audience of people who have viewed over 50%, over 75%, and then you'll actually see if there's enough people on your pixel once you've created that custom audience and once it populates to create a lookalike audience to this set of people without actually going and trying to find different interest groups to target them in. So what should you use LLAs, lookalike audiences, for? Scaling is the number one way. And the reason why it is such a crucial tool with scaling is that because with them, you can now not have to guess. Essentially, it's guesswork on the interests to target people. You won't have to constantly be thinking of new interests to kind of put within your ads to target that next group of people. Rather, you can just target them on percentage of how closely they match past purchasers of your product. Sometimes these people will be categorized in a totally different interest that you would never think in a million years of using on an ad set. However, Facebook identifies this for you, and it really helps because it makes them do much of the heavy lifting for you. So this is a horizontal and vertical tool for scaling, and what that means is basically you can continue running these interest targeting ads as well as set these up side by side next to them, meaning horizontal, maybe at the same budget, target 1%, 2%, 3% of people that look like the people who have purchased from you in the past, while continually running the conversion ads that are actually getting people to purchase your product through interests. And using this vertically is also super easy because you don't have to necessarily duplicate and double and hope. You can, it's the same percentage. So if you find that winning percentage, if you find like 3% lookalike audiences are your winning percentage, that's the ad set that's dominating. It is a huge tool because you can just essentially add more of this budget. One huge thing that a lot of people should definitely use with lookalike audiences and when setting up your campaign for lookalike audiences is budget optimization. What this does is it kind of lets Facebook do a little even more heavy lifting and evaluate each percentage of lookalikes that you're doing and essentially pick and choose where it wants to allocate your budget to get you the most results. Huge tool. And huge value right there. So how do I do them? How do I get started with them? I know what they are. I know what they do. How do I, put simply get started? So what you want to do first is create a custom audience for the audience you want to create a lookalike for. Simply put, you would go into audiences and create video views 50%, video views 75%, video views 95%. You would see this populate. You would create a custom audience for people who have purchased in the past 180 days. You can't go past 180 days on Facebook as of right now. They might change it, whatever it may be, but I know you can't go past 180. For purchases, add to cart, 180 days, and this can go down the line. You can do initiate checkout, you can do view content, and I just included a couple here just to show. My favorite, just for the record, is purchase. That's usually my most effective. So what are these percentages, right? You go and create these lookalike audiences, and then it says percentage, 1 through 9% usually. You have 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, and so on up to 9. So what these percentages mean are it's exactly how similar each audience in that lookalike is compared to the custom ones it's modeled after. So 1% lookalike audience based on a purchase of 180 days are people who are very, very, very similar or the most similar, 1% of the population of the country that you're running them in, that is similar to the people who have purchased your product. 9% is going to be a larger range of people. In the United States, it's over 20 million people, but it's going to be 9% similar to exactly the people who have purchased your product when running them on that. So it ranges. And one thing I also want to throw out there is based on my experience, 1, 2, 3% are not always the ones that are the winners. A lot of people think this. A lot of people think that, it's only going to really be effective for 1, 2, 3%. I've had ads in the past that I have run. I mean, this is, talking a few months back because I'm not running it for this product. This isn't the winning ad set for this right now, but I've had 7% be my best lookalike audience. So can't stress that enough. Don't cut these off, if it's 5% or more and just say it's too broad, it's not going to work. Especially with a more general product, it can still work very easily and get your cost per purchases lower because it could spread your budget out among people. So why are these so effective, right? What makes these audiences just so freaking effective? Facebook is constantly gathering new data through your pixel. So every time you get a purchase, within 5 minutes, it's pasted on your pixel. Another person is added to, that list of people. Facebook is always optimizing. In Facebook eyes, they want to see you be more successful, because the more successful you are, the more money you're going to spend on their platform. So they're on your side. They want you to win. They want you to hit your goals. They want you to get your return on ad spend high, your cost per purchase low, all that fun stuff. They're also so effective because it's so much easier to scale these. Once you find that winning percentage, you can duplicate these, you can raise the budget on these, and you can continue to raise the budget until you realize that you've hit, okay, it seems that every time I go past $100 per day on this, given my return on ad spend drops dramatically. So you can really scale these much easier than just a regular interest ad. And these really just prove to be super effective, especially when the scaling process. It's more advanced technique, but even if you're just starting out, and even if you do have videos that are just going, you can be running these on video views, 50, 75, 95%, and they are super effective. One last thing, make sure when you're running these on purchase conversion objectives. When you're running these lookalikes, one key thing to do there. And as always, if you found even an ounce of value in this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe below, comment anything you want me to cover in my next video, and I will see you then. Take it easy, guys.